Let's talk about Pavel Durov, the guy who founded Telegram. He's put out what he's calling a final warning. He's convinced we are right on the edge of losing the free open internet that we all grew up with. But he also thinks he has the blueprint to save it. Now, you might read that and think it's a little dramatic, right? But this isn't just hyperbole. This is coming from someone who literally sacrificed a billion-dollar company to fight for this exact issue. So yeah, his warning carries some serious weight. And he believes it comes with a solution. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at his urgent warning for the internet. Then, we'll get into the very real price he personally paid for free speech. And after that, we're diving deep into his proposed solution, a decentralized model called Web4.community, which is all built on a blueprint known as TON. Okay, so what exactly is this dystopian world Durov keeps talking about? Well, it's a future where our digital lives, our online selves, are just not our own anymore. What he's saying is that these giant, centralized networks are being turned into the perfect tools for control. That the internet, which was supposed to be about liberation, is fast becoming a tool for mass surveillance and control by governments and big corporations. So why should we take this warning so seriously? I mean, a lot of people are saying scary things about the internet, right? Well, it's because Durov's own story is basically the ultimate case study in just how dangerous centralized power can be. And it all comes down to what he calls the hostage problem. It's a really simple but powerful idea. If your network has one CEO, one main office, that person or that place becomes a single point of pressure, a hostage that governments can squeeze. He learned this firsthand with his first big creation, VK. And this timeline, man, it lays it all out. You can see the hostage problem playing out in real time. In 2011, he says no to censorship. By 2014, after standing his ground again and again, he was literally forced out of his own company and had to flee the country. He gave up a fortune, proving that any centralized platform has a built-in weak spot. So what was his solution? He became a digital nomad. He made himself, and by extension Telegram, a constantly moving target. And this personal strategy, well, it's the very core of the technical solution he's championing now, a decentralized, resilient network like Web4.community that has no single point to attack. Okay, so how do you actually build a network that has that digital nomad philosophy baked right in? The answer is in a specific kind of architecture, and it's the foundation of this whole Web4.community model. It's this concept called social networks as a service, or SNaaS. Now, that might sound a little techy, but just think of it like this. It's a toolkit that lets anyone, you, me, anyone, launch and run their own social network, completely free from any central boss. This is the big idea behind Web4.community. It's about flipping the power structure of the internet. And this just puts it side by side so clearly. On one side, you have the old way, one single vulnerable target. On the other, with the Web4.community model, you have a distributed, tough-as-nails network of independent communities, no single head to cut off. So let's think about the actual threats. A government demands to know who everyone is. The Web4.community solution is a decentralized ID you control. Mass surveillance of messages? The solution is a network with no central hub to tap into. It's a system literally designed from the ground up to fight back against the exact threats Durov faced. Okay, but a great idea is just an idea if the technology to build it doesn't exist. So is this all just a pipe dream? Well, the answer is no, and it lies in a project that Durov's own team started, the Open Network. TON, or the Open Network, gives you all the key ingredients you need. Things like decentralized storage and self-sovereign identity. These aren't just buzzwords. They are the actual railroad tracks you need to build a truly decentralized web, exactly the kind envisioned by the Web4.community model. And this isn't just a theory. Telegram is already running a live test case on TON. They're turning things like usernames into assets that users actually own. They're proving, right now, that core pieces of a huge social network can be successfully decentralized. So we've gone through the philosophy, the tech, but what does a world built on this Web4.community model actually look like for you and me, the everyday user? Well, for starters, it means the end of what Durov calls the global moral police. You know, the idea that one company in California should get to decide what's acceptable speech for billions of people all over the world. The SNaaS framework just solves this by its very design. Think about it. Right now, one single algorithm, optimized for outrage and engagement, controls what most of us see. This model completely flips that. Instead of a monoculture, you get pluralism. Thousands of different communities can run their own algorithms for their own goals, whether that's for local news, education, whatever they want. Because all that power, the moderation, the rule setting, it gets handed back to the people who actually built the communities. The rules for a university group can and probably should be different than the rules for a local neighborhood watch. It just makes sense. And this brings us right back to the beginning, back to the urgency of Durov's warning, and the final, most crucial points of this entire movement. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Durov's arrest in 2024 is the ultimate proof of his own theory. Even as a digital nomad, he, the central figure, was still a target. It's the final dramatic piece of evidence, showing that true freedom online can only be guaranteed through radical decentralization. So here's the bottom line. The Web 4.community model isn't just a cool theory anymore. It is the logical conclusion of everything Pavel Durov has been working towards and fighting for. The tools are actually here, and they are designed from the ground up to finally solve the hostage problem for good. But in the end, the technology can only give us the opportunity. The tools to build a freer internet are on the table. The real question is, are we going to pick them up and use them? The choice is now up to us.